Umuzi, an organization that works with unemployed young people, is hosting a hackathon next week. It aims to create education solutions that works in the African context. For more, I'm joined by Gilbert Pooley, the director of the organization, as well as one of Umuzi's recruits, Veronique May. Thank you so much for coming in this afternoon. I came across news of this hackathon on social media, as one does these days, Gilbert. Now, hack, when those of us who don't know the tech world as well, you think, oh, but that's a bad thing. So what is a hackathon?
It's a very good thing, and we're aiming to bring a group of like-minded people together who are interested in education and improving access to high-quality education. You see, we've got this funny situation in South Africa where we've got an enormous amount of youth unemployment and so many talented young people who don't have access to good opportunities. And at the same time, we've got a shortage of scarce skills in the digital economy. So roles such as web development, data science, data engineering are going unfilled at the moment. So we're trying to bring a group of people together to hack a solution to help more young people, like Veronique, be able to start learning to code online in order for them to explore these career opportunities.
Now, Veronique, let's bring you in here. You're a young lady from Boksburg. How did you come across Umuzi?
I was an administrator before. I started coding like online, following online tutorials and self-studying how to code. 3 months down the line, I found a post about Umuzi and decided to apply. A week thereafter, they hired me, recruited me to teach me how to code.
And how, in terms of your schooling, you ended up leaving school, finished up, and you got your job as an administrator, as you just said. What did you know about coding before that, and what led you to want to find out more?
I knew absolutely nothing, to be quite honest. I studied psychology before that. I unfortunately couldn't finish my degree, personal reasons. Worked in retail, it was quite gruesome. And then I went into the public administration. But like I said, I don't come from an IT background. I came from a psychology background. And
different sides of the brain, you would think.
Yes. So it was quite intensive. But you go, they help. They're very supportive in what they do.
And you said you found a space online where you could find out more about it. Was there anybody around you that knew what you were doing, or probably just thought, oh, what are you doing on your computer and what is this coding thing you speak of? Are there enough people, young people like you, who know how important coding should be?
In where I grew up, I wouldn't say so. At the moment, in my space, like at home, I'm the only one that codes. So it can be tough because you don't necessarily have the support, especially if you come from a different background, you understand? But when we're all together in the community that Umuzi is slowly growing, it's very nice.
Gilbert, that must be a very inspiring story too here. Is it similar to other stories that you've heard from your recruits? Young people who don't really have anybody to turn to tell them more about the world of coding or this tech world out there, that apparently there are so many jobs to be had, but they just don't know how to access them? Absolutely.
I mean, Umuzi means home in Zulu, and I think that it really is a home for young people who are looking for high-value careers, whether that's in the tech space. We also train people for creative and strategy careers. And a lot of the young people who come to Umuzi say, I feel like I've come home for the first time. For the first time, I'm surrounded by young people who, like me, are searching for an ambitious, future-oriented career, something that will challenge them and reward them, and something that's not conventional. But unfortunately, their families and their parents and friends don't necessarily usually understand that. But we live in a wonderful time. There's many great online resources, and I think this is why we're starting this hackathon, and this is why Umuzi exists, is to give more young people access to these sorts of opportunities. Veronique now is registered on a learnership that's supported by BBD, one of South Africa's biggest and best tech software companies. And so she's got an exciting path ahead of her. Like, once she finishes this learnership, there's an opportunity to do work experience and then get a job at a big South African tech company. And I think that this is the message, hopeful message. We've got so much unemployment and so many challenges in South Africa. We've got a struggling economy in many ways, but there are some bright spots in this tech space. And I think my advice to young people is to look for opportunities where you can enter into the digital economy. And learning to code and doing it yourself or starting online by yourself is an excellent way to do it.
Now, Veronique, many of us grow up in communities and families where one is often the first to go to Technikon or university, the first to do many things, because our parents and their parents didn't have the same opportunities because of the history of South Africa. And then when you do have an opportunity to go and study, the idea is you must go and do something that the previous generation knows by name: an accountant, a teacher, a lawyer, a psychologist, in your case. Has it been difficult to explain perhaps to your family, this is what I'm doing, this is now what I'm passionate about, and hey, somebody's actually going to employ me?
Actually, not really. My family has been quite supportive. Like, my mom is the person I go to if I've had a quite hard day. She doesn't normally understand what I'm ranting on about, but she's always there to be my sounding board. So I am blessed enough to have a very supportive family. Yeah.
And if you had young people who perhaps are sitting at home now, some of them might have been able to study like you have, maybe not been able to complete, or some are about to write the matric exams and they still have no idea what to do. They might not have the resources to go and study something at a more official tertiary institution. What would your advice be to them?
My dad says a sentence to me all the time, and it's guided me for a while now. You are the only person that stands in your way. If you don't know what you want to do, just take the time to think about it, figure out what you enjoy and pursue that. Because if you're not going to do something that you like, the likelihood is you're not going to, be excited about waking up in the morning. It's going to be such a dreadful day all the time. So just do what you like and don't allow yourself to stand in your way.
And what you found is there's a whole world out there and an economy in an industry that is developing at a fast pace. They're creating jobs that didn't even exist 10 years ago, right?
Exactly. So just go with it. There's so much opportunities out there. You just have to open up your perspective and actually look for it.
Gilbert, the work being done by Umuzi, your website says recognizing and empowering young creators and tech innovators. When we speak about the creative world, you almost think it's separate to the big tech and innovation world. But you're saying there's a space to bring those together, if I'm reading that correctly.
Absolutely. I think the value that's being created in our economy at the moment is when people bring good new creative concepts together with tech solutions. And this is what's unique about Umuzi, is the way that we train the young people in our program is in an integrated team. So we call them product teams. And this is where young people work together. You may have someone who's studying coding, like Veronique, working with someone who's studying design, working with someone who's studying strategy. And they work together in a product team to try and solve a real problem. And that's where something like a hackathon comes in. It's an intense period of a day or two where you really try to solve a problem collaboratively as a team. We use an approach called design thinking, which focuses on humans and the user and really tries to understand their needs and develop a solution based on their needs. So it's not just about programming a solution and coding. It's about really empathizing and understanding what the human being is struggling with and what solution they need, and delivering a tech solution that helps them with whatever their challenge is.
So what you're saying there is that a tech world is not necessarily for those who have a talent for working on computers, perhaps are good at maths and science. It's not just for people with a talent in that field.
No, absolutely not. There's many opportunities. So all the way from doing research to understand users or human beings and what their needs are, all the way through to designing what the look and the feel of these apps is. So every time you use an app on your phone or you go on the internet on a computer, what's the look and feel, the design of that space? That's a completely different skill set, obviously. And then, obviously, there's people like Veronique who are actually coding this to make it all work on the back end. So it takes people with different skills in order to create value create new digital products, create new digital solutions.
And in a way, find solutions for problems that we don't even know exist yet.
Absolutely, yeah.
Gilbert, thank you so much for that. Gilbert Puli is the director of Umuzi, and one of their recruits, Veronique May, who has a very bright future ahead of her. And they will be hosting the hackathon on the 8th of October. Is that next week?
That's correct. I would suggest anyone who's interested in Umuzi as a young person applying or interested in this hackathon can go to our website. It's www.umuzi.org. You'll find all the information there. You can also look us up on all the social media.
Fantastic. That's exactly what I did. Thank you so much. Gilbert Puli and Veronique May from Umuzi. A #hackathon taking place next week.